All right, so if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in getting a 16mm f1.8 lens like this Yongnuo one. Maybe you're interested in the Sony 15mm 1.4 or maybe even the Sigma 16mm 1.4. There's a lot of lenses that kind of fit this type of talking head perspective, legendary lens status. And if you did a little bit of research, you probably stumbled on a couple alternatives like this Yongnuo 16mm f1.8. I'm actually filming on it right now. So which one's the best? Well, we're gonna answer that, because lucky for you, I've tested and own a couple of these lenses, but I figured I'd do a test, talking head perspective, give you an unboxing to show you guys what this comes with, and ultimately help you decide which one of these should you spend your money on, because they're not all created equal. And on top of that, there's some versions that are super pricey, like double, triple the cost. I'm talking about you, Sony. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, we're gonna do a quick unboxing of the Yongnuo 16mm f1.8 lens. As you can see right here are some of the specs. It's got a function buttons, quick autofocus, it's silent. It has USB-C to update it to different firmwares for newer and older cameras. Here's my Sony FX30. I use this for my talking head videos. I also, on my channel, have a video about the Viltrox 13mm f1.4, which is an amazing lens. And obviously this lens is a direct competitor to the famous Sigma, is it Sigma? 16mm f1.4. This lens is awesome, especially for the price. I think it's like $200, which is a steal. It's also a newer lens. It's smaller and lighter than a lot of its competition. I got the lens right here. Look at this thing, fits in the palm of your hand. Nicely wrapped. I actually owned this lens for a little bit and I didn't appreciate what it was. We got a lens hood as well. And then you've got some paperwork that tells you about the autofocus manual switch and different things like that. We're not gonna touch that though. It's gonna stay in the box. So here we go, here's the lens, here's the lens hood. Now there's a couple reasons why you'd wanna consider the 16mm f1.8 versus Sony's 15mm 1.4, the Sigma 16mm 1.4 or the Viltrox 13, and it's really size. It's the size of this lens. This thing is so compact, so nice and small. It's got really nice metal build quality, as you can hear right here. It's got a function button and an autofocus manual focus switch, which is really nice when you're taking content. This is really smooth right here. Here's the front elements. It's a 58mm front focal thread, and it really comes down to size and portability. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this lens and we're gonna pop it on my FX30 so you can see what it looks like. Now the FX30 is not a small camera by any means, but this is a really good studio camera, and that's what it fits like on there. As you can see, it's very compact, it's lightweight, you're not worried about it bogging down. Me personally, I'm using this for studio talking headshots, so that's kind of what reference I'm gonna be talking about. You could also use this as a vlogging lens if you wanted that 24mm focal length, but you're probably not gonna get a good field of view because of the image stabilization, which is why I also own the 11-1.8. Technically, if you're just doing studio stuff, you're talking head, you don't care about the size of the lens, but if you're traveling and you want a good talking head lens, this is a great combo. Honestly, I'm going to Mexico for like 2 weeks, a week and a half, I don't know. And I need to bring a talking head lens, and I also want to bring a lens to shoot content on myself. And this is probably the combo I'm gonna bring. These two lenses are lightweight, compact, and I have no problem carrying that versus a big 13mm or 16mm Sigma, which is nuts. So you're really paying for the portability, and if that's what you want, then this lens is great. Also the price, this thing's $200. I'm probably gonna repeat myself like 10,000 times, but the price on this thing is crazy. There's your quick unboxing. We're gonna jump into a talking head perspective with this 16mm, just to show you guys what it looks like. Right now I only have the FX30, but I'm picking up a ZV-E10 Mark I, which is gonna be my travel camera. And that's what this lens is gonna be attached to. But the lens is so lightweight, like the camera is like tilting backwards because there's no weight in the front. So yeah, let's get into that talking head perspective. So when it comes to a lens, I'm not gonna do all these nitty gritty tests. I'm just going to show you how it works like in a talking head perspective, the way that I'm using it now, which means that it has to obviously keep me in focus. I'm not moving too much when I'm shooting talking head videos, but the tracking is on my eye and it is very accurate. If I turn my head a little bit too much, it'll jump from one eye to the other very rapidly, which is great. And then the next thing that I really care about a lens is autofocus, because I'm showcasing you guys products. So I'll do this, I'll put the product in the frame and then I'll drop it out of my face and I'll put it back in. And it has to be rapid enough to do that, so that way it doesn't make you, the viewer, feel like it's delayed. And that, honestly, it's fast. It's not as fast as I'd want though, but it's not bad. There is a cinematic quality to having a slow focus on a lens. Also, this is white, which means it's not the most contrasty thing. Let's do another focus test. There's that, and then there's me. There's that, and then there's me. Here's a close focusing distance. I'm literally like, your close focusing is about like 2.5 inches away from the lens, which is kind of nice. Look at that color rendition. The contrast, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. You be the judge. You see how it goes from the box to my face, from the box to my face, the box to my face. It is good. It is smooth. And what I like is that it doesn't look like there's any focus breathing. Sometimes on the edges right here, I have like a light and that light will break the frame, will pop in. This one's just getting blurry, which is nice. So yeah, one of the reasons you want a 16mm f1.8 lens is for talking head, because 16mm on APS-C is 24mm, which is really good to make you look natural. Right now, my face is accurately shaped. It's not like warped in. When you use something like an 11mm lens or something that's wider, you get skinnier. I'm already like a skinny guy, so I don't need to look skinnier or thinner. And it's not in a good way. It kind of makes you look like Slender Man. Also, the 16mm gives you decent compression. Obviously, my background is still visible, which you want, but there is separation of field. The lights, the leading lines of the lights help that, and the contrast of the calendar there versus just like a blank wall. And then here's a depth of field test. Look at that nice depth of field. It is creamy. And it's focusing on the lens really nicely. My face, the lens, my face, the lens. And my face and the lens are obviously almost arm's distance apart. So there's the lens, here's my face. So that's really good. I think this is a really good talking head perspective for most people. It is personal preference. There's so much personal preference that goes into this. This is great for compression, the width. I'm not too wide, but I do feel like I'm in like a tight box, and the camera has been in the same position the whole time. I could technically move back, but then my light's not gonna hit me as good. I think this is good perspective. Also, I have the ND filter on here. I kind of want to take the ND filter off just to show you guys what it looks like, a more color accurate representation of this lens. All right, you see I'm blue. This ND filter really, can you see me through the ND filter? Look how it makes it look like more yellow. It could just be my white balance too, but we're gonna switch the settings on this so it's evened out. We're gonna hit ISO, nope, that's white balance. We're gonna hit ISO and switch to 100. I think this is good exposure. I can always do it in post. Look at the difference. This is what the Yongnuo 16mm f1.8 looks like at f1.8. I just adjusted some of the settings on my camera. This is its pure image. And honestly, I think it looks great. My lighting obviously helps. I'm sweating to death. It doesn't help that I'm drinking hot coffee either. But yeah, I like having my mic in frame too. Not too much. I wish I could have more of it. If I move back, time moving slow. This is probably more what I want. And I can increase the brightness on my camera with the ISO. Let's do 125. Yeah, I think that's great. I think I look a little like whitewashed though. Look at how much more tan I am with this. Stupid amount of tan. White, tan, white, tan, white, tan. See how important having an ND filter is potentially? Shaking the whole camera. Hopefully I answered all your questions. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Just to reiterate, if you want a talking head perspective lens and you're gonna be taking it outside of your studio, like moving it around, and size and weight is important to you, get the Yongnuo 16mm f1.8 lens. It will not disappoint you because that's a great talking head lens to travel with if you need it. I would not recommend the 16mm f1.8 for vlogging just because it's too tight with stabilization on, obviously. If you are not on a budget and you want a wide angle lens for your studio talking head videos, get the Viltrox 13mm f1.8. That one gives you the most, in my opinion, it gives you the best talking head perspective and the most shallow depth of field because it's f1.4. Avoid the Sigma 16mm f1.4 because it's not really worth it. It's big, it's bulky, it's outdated. It is a great lens, but for the price, you can get something newer like this 16mm f1.8, and nobody's gonna know the difference between that 1.4 and 1.8 unless you specifically told them and show them side-by-side images. So why not save the money, get the newer lens that has a USB-C, which has USB-C updatable capabilities for your future cameras. And lastly, you should avoid the Sony 11mm and the Sony 15mm f1.4 unless you're a purist and you're really getting those lenses because of the colors that they produce, which is probably rare. Most people are not trying to match colors for this type of work, not on those lenses. They're not professional lenses. They're just overpriced. Sony's lenses are overpriced. They're cheaply made, and there are clearly better alternatives, which is what you're looking at right now. So yeah, that's my long-winded video when it comes to picking a lens for your APS-C crop sensor Sony camera bodies or full frame. You can use this on full frame too. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.